Tonight, the latest search for missing Adelaide teen Scott Redman near Kimba comes to an end, and the Murray River to Broken Hill pipeline is officially complete.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. The latest search for missing Adelaide man Scott Redman near Kimba has come to an end. Police have confirmed they found no trace of the 19-year-old and are now treating the case as a murder inquiry. John Hunt has more.
Scott Redman hasn't been seen since April 21, with police declaring his disappearance a major crime. The latest search for him has wrapped up, with detectives spending 3 days in an area south of Whyalla. It was the latest in a series of searches for the missing father of two. Police concentrated their search on a 12 square kilometre patch of land off Middleback Road at Secret Rocks near Kimba. It's the same area where police found a black SUV, which Mr. Redman was allegedly in during a high-speed chase with an associate on April 21. An accomplice was arrested in Whyalla on April 23, and Mr. Redman was declared missing the next day. 35 officers were involved in the search through dense and difficult to reach scrubland. Mounted police were also called in due to the nature of the conditions. After 3 days of searching, police say they found no new trace of the missing 19-year-old. They'll now regroup as they figure out their next move on the case. Detectives are convinced the 19-year-old was murdered and won't rest until his remains are found. Anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
A Port Pirie man accused of murdering 49-year-old Rory Elliott at the Talawi Beach campsite in February has been denied an application for bail. The defence argued that Matthew Lolete had been in custody 8 months without a trial and that the stringent home detention orders would prevent the accused from absconding. However, Magistrate Forrest told the court that the seriousness of the allegation was a dominant consideration and bail was refused. Mr. Lolete will answer the charge next month. The Murray River to Broken Hill pipeline is complete, with work crews laying the final piece today. Concerns about a rise in water prices when it becomes operational were dismissed by the Regional Water Minister, who claims the state government will foot the bill.
One quick radio call.
When you're ready, lower the pipe.
And just like that, the last of 22,000 pieces of steel pipe was laid. The 270-kilometre, $500 million Wentworth Broken Hill pipeline now complete.
This is huge for Broken Hill and the surrounding community. Today we can certainly say that we've secured Broken Hill's future.
In addition to announcing the pipeline's completion, Minister Blair had more good news. If the Independent Pricing Tribunal decides to pass along the project's costs to locals, he says they will be absorbed by the New South Wales government.
Water prices won't increase in Broken Hill as a result of this project. You know, we stumped up the money to build it, and now we're also going to cover the costs for the community in relation to the operation.
Work crews will now focus on completing pumping stations and running tests on the pipeline. Broken Hill will start to receive Murray River water in April next year. It's a timely announcement as the city struggles with the quality of its tap water.
Because if we hadn't made that decision, if we had put all of our eggs into the basket of praying for rain like some others had, then this community in the coming months would have been facing a pretty dire situation.
Mr Blair says work is also continuing on the recommissioning of the Menindee Lake system.
The objective there is to have more water for longer in the system.
Patrick Ryanke, Southern Cross News.
The CFS has declared that the fire danger season will be starting earlier this year, and the Clare Valley is getting prepared just in time. Part of a $2.3 million funding boost is being put towards reinforcements in the sky, with the stationing of aerial water bombers in the region.
Like most regional areas, the Clare Valley spends most of its summer preparing for the worst. An early start to the bushfire season is not only a threat to the people, it can also cause serious harm to the valley's vineyards.
We've been prone to severe bushfire risk for a very, very long time in this valley, and that risk is growing, and it's being a big threat to our wine industry.
The dangers of smoke taint can seriously deplete grape crops and potentially destroy an entire vintage. The economic impacts of such a disaster could decimate the region's industry. making it more important than ever to invest in preventative measures.
The important thing, in my opinion, for fighting bushfires is to keep them small. So throw all your resources at it while they are small and containable. Do not let them become the large conflagrations that has often been the case.
It's also reassuring to have aerial support nearby in the event of bushfires which may threaten the whole Mid-North region. The government's commitment to bolster the Mid-North's firefighting power will ensure that the resources from the Adelaide Hills region won't need to be spread thin. The fire danger season officially starts on November 1st, so each region will need all the help they can get. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill Police have received a big boost in their crime-fighting technology. Patrolling officers will now be wearing body-worn video cameras.
The latest accessory for Broken Hill Police.
These cameras are now on the street in Broken Hill.
The body-worn video cameras are fitted onto a mount attached to an officer's vest. The technology records both high-quality audio and video at a wide angle. The vision can be downloaded onto police databases and, if needed, be used in court proceedings. Superintendent Smith says it improves the community and the officer's safety.
Your behaviour, the behaviour of the police, all captured. It's on a secure system and, if required, may appear before the magistrate.
Expect to see the camera on officers wherever you go, in licensed premises, at local events and even RBTs. If you are being filmed by the cameras, officers will let you know.
The officers are certainly have been given training and are encouraged to use them in situations where they're using their powers, where there may be an incident where their powers come into question. Certainly if there's an incident of public disorder, etc., the camera will be activated.
The body-worn cameras were first rolled out in Sydney in 2015. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, a veterans counselling service now available in the Upper Spencer Gulf. And country music artists and fans set to kick up their heels in Port Pirie as the Country Music Festival celebrates its 35th anniversary this weekend. Hello again. The government has launched a new program aimed at assisting the mental health and wellbeing of ex-Defence Force servicemen. The Veterans and Veterans Families Counselling Service is now available in the Upper Spencer Gulf.
They battled through muddy terrain, around a cacophony of explosions and gunfire, all for our country. Many soldiers carry the long-lasting effects of the war, and a new counselling service hopes to make sure their mental health is a priority.
What it's looking at is just bringing a service, a counselling service, out to some of the regional areas.
The roving counselling service flies to Whyalla, Port Augusta and Port Pirie each month, offering ex-servicemen and their families a safe space to talk about the scars of their past.
Importantly, I think, is to validate that experience for them, to acknowledge what they've been through.
The free counselling service has been around under many different banners for over 40 years, but this is the first time it has reached these regional areas. Ex-veterans say they've seen the benefits firsthand.
There's been marriages that have been saved through it.
In a 14-year period after 2001, 345 suicide deaths were recorded from people who had served at least one day in the Defence Force. And veterans say it's important these services are in place so that number doesn't rise.
There has to be help somewhere. Awareness is a big thing. They need to come out and let people know that they're there, what's available.
If you or anyone you know needs help, please contact Lifeline on 13 11 14. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
UniSA has hosted its annual Wellness Festival in Whyalla today with a focus on mental health. Local support groups were on hand, showcasing the services they can provide.
We've got some fantastic services, fantastic staff working in these places, available all around the year for whatever you need.
Well, Whyalla children have taken a trip down the famous Yellow Brick Road. They were part of a touring Wizard of Oz interactive show, which puts a modern twist on the classic tale. The production featured a mix of hip-hop, rap and blues music, with local kids taking part.
It's very popular because the children love interactive aspects as well, so the songs are very much to encourage children to take part.
One of my all-time favourites. The show also visited Port Augusta last night and will finish up its South Australian run in Adelaide this weekend. The Indian community living in Port Lincoln may not be very big, but they're looking to celebrate their culture in a big way and have invited everyone to join their traditional festival this weekend.
A celebration of colour, culture, food and friendship. The local Indian community is welcoming Port Lincoln with open arms as a way of saying thanks.
The community has given us a lot and we are pretty thankful for them. And this is the way we can, give back something more colourful to them.
There are about 15 families and 60 people now living in and around Port Lincoln. To celebrate their Hindu religion and share their cultural ways, the group have organised a local Navaratri festival, traditionally a 9-day celebration held across India.
We should do something to have a bit of participation in the community. So that's why we decided to do something this time, and this is the event actually called Navaratri.
There'll be traditional dances performed on the night, with people dressed head to toe in their bright colours. And of course there'll be an array of delicious traditional vegetarian food. But most importantly, the event will be about passing on cultural learnings to the next generation.
Decide to do to let our kids know what's our culture and how we are going to bring them to Port Lincoln.
The non-alcoholic event will kick off at the Port Lincoln RSL Hall on Sunday from 4 p.m, and the small group hope to invite the wider community to more traditional Indian events in the future. Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Country music artists and fans will kick up their heels in Port Pirie this weekend for the town's annual Country Music Festival. This year marks the 35th anniversary of the event, and local fans are passionate about keeping its legacy alive.
Celebrating 35 years of bringing the best country music to Port Pirie. Although attendance may have slipped a bit since its glory days in the 80s, it's still a favourite on the Australian country music calendar, with people travelling great distances to enjoy the show.
Getting to meet all our friends through country music, and we've got the top artists in Australia coming, just generally to enjoy great entertainment and friendship for the weekend.
For many, it's the lifelong friendships which keep drawing them back to Port Pirie.
Port Pirie itself is a beautiful place, and we know so many people from over the years. Over the last 20, 30 years, we've met so many people here, and we know them, we keep in contact. It's great to come back.
It's also a great tourism opportunity for Port Pirie. When the country circuit rolls into town, they're instantly looking for a place to hang their hats, booking out most of the vacancies in the motels and caravan parks. For more details on the festival, visit ncma.org.au. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Thanks, Dom. Love the hat. Well, stay with us after the break. Cricket kicks off in some parts of the Gulf, with the Corn men hoping to take out their 3rd straight title. And in the weather, it's going to be a cracking day tomorrow as temps warm up too. But we're in for a change to start the week. I'll have all the details soon. Well, it's warming up, meaning cricketers will be pulling out their whites and dusting off their bats. In Port Augusta, it's the men from Corn who are fine-tuning their preparations for this weekend's season opener, looking to secure 3 back-to-back titles.
Loosening out the limbs and charging through the crease, cricket season is back. Round 1 of Port Augusta cricket will kick off this Saturday, and it's the men from the north who are hoping for another successful season.
Pretty confident coming off of last year's win. A few changes to the side, lost a couple of key players, but hopefully that won't affect us too badly.
The Corn Club will be looking to make this season their 3rd straight title, and with many of the old guard moving on, they'll be looking to the youngsters to energise their campaign.
We've got young Joe Eckert coming through, same with Fletcher Hoare, who very good fast bowlers.
At the top of the order, Captain Alex Hosking is the key man for Corn. In a period of 5 games last season, he scored 481 runs at an average of 96. But they're out to prove they're not just a one-man show.
Hopefully we don't have to rely on him all season. We can spread the runs around the whole team.
The side will face stiff competition from South on their home turf this Saturday.
Well, South Augusta is always going to be very tough. On paper, they're a fantastic side.
Though it's the home side who are quietly confident.
Bring on this season and hopefully we can take it home again 3 in a row.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
And here's this weekend's cricket tips.
Yeah, g'day and welcome back to the Port Augusta cricket season for 2018-2019. This week we see Corn take on South Augusta in Corn. This should be a good match. Corn winning the last two premierships are going to be hard to beat up at Corn. South are a very good side also, but I'm going to pick Corn to beat South. The other match sees Central Stirling take on West Augusta. Central's last year's runner-ups should easily beat West Augusta. West are struggling right now, and West will come good throughout the season, but I can't see them beating Central Stirling on the weekend. So there are my two winners, Corn and Central Stirling.
Hello and welcome to the first round of Port Pirie cricket. In an exciting move, the overs have been reduced to 42, which should make for far more attacking games of cricket. This round starts with Southport taking on Props at the new Memorial Oval on Saturday. I'm tipping Props. On Sunday, it's Wandera up against Solly North at Memorial. I'm tipping Wandera.
I love cricket season, but soccer wraps up in Whyalla this weekend and it's cup final time. Tipster Sean Sheedy tells us who's got what it takes.
Welcome to Whyalla Soccer. This week we have our Bill Patterson Association Cup finals, both at Croatia Park. The B grade kick off at 12:30, the A grade at 3 on Saturday. In the reserves we have Westlands taking on Steel. I'll be tipping Westlands. In the A grade we have Lions taking on Steel. I'll be tipping Lions.
Thanks, Sean. And time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. We saw some absolutely cracking springtime weather around the Gulf to end the week. Port Augusta reached a top of 29 degrees today, while there was nothing but sunny skies in Port Lincoln. 23 was the max there. On the satellite, cloud is increasing in Western SA ahead of a low pressure trough, leading to the odd shower. Skies are clearer elsewhere under the influence of a high. Looking at the waters for your Saturday, northeasterly winds up to 20 knots, seas at 1.5 metres, and sunrise is at 6:43. And you're going to want to be near the water tomorrow because it's certainly warming up for the weekend. Beautiful sunny skies too. Port Augusta is heading for a top of 32 degrees. Whyalla fine and 29. Coffin Bay could see a sprinkle of rain. Port Pirie 31 for you tomorrow. And the mercury will rise into the mid to high 20s everywhere else. And it's going to remain warm for Sunday, but we could see a shower here and there for all centres. Wood now warming up to 33 degrees. We'll see a big drop in temps for Monday though, and cloud cover creeping in on Tuesday. Port Lincoln 18 the top there. A windy, warm day forecast for Sunday in Whyalla and Port Augusta as it warms up even more. Kadina could see a drizzle of rain on Sunday and Monday. Temps cooling off to pleasant, fine conditions to start the week. Port Pirie heading for a top of 33 degrees on Sunday. Gee whiz, it feels more like summer. Clare, windy with a chance of showers, 29 there. A shower here and there on Monday, but lovely conditions in Broken Hill, warming up to 29 degrees. So a mixed bag of weather this weekend, but it will certainly feel like summer's just around the corner. And that's all from us this Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday at 6:30. Good night.